What's up, Formula One fans? David Land here, and you're looking at something that hasn't been a thing for a very, very long time. I think 10 plus years. This is a 1/64 scale Formula One diecast. This specifically is Fernando Alonso's 2015 McLaren Honda from the Spanish Grand Prix. This is produced by Spark Models, and you may remember Spark if you've been a long-time person on my channel. They produced a couple other 1/64 scale cars, notably the Delta Wing and the Toyota TS030 or TS030 from the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But this is the first time they've done a Formula One diecast. In fact, there are two, not only the 2015 Alonso car from the Spanish Grand Prix, but they also did Jenson Button's car from, I want to say, the Chinese Grand Prix. It was the early season McLaren when they had the silver on the airbox, and then later on in the season they went to this black and orange, which frankly I think looks better, and is why I bought this car over the Button car. So this is what it looks like in the packaging. Well, also in Fernando Alonso is probably my favorite F1 driver. But anyway, this is a look at the packaging. As you can see, 1/64 scale McLaren. You've got the little Spark cartoon spark plug there, which they seem to be putting on the 1/64 scale, implying that I suppose it's for kids, but let's face it, if you're buying diecast, you're a big kid at heart, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's the look at the little spark plug guy. I wonder if that guy has a name. That'd be interesting to see in the comments. But yes, you do get special McLaren packaging. You can see this is the MP4-30. There's the designation of the car. There's what I paid for it, $14 at Burbank House of Hobbies on eBay. Right now the Alonso is out of stock, but I think there's still one Jenson Button if you're interested in that. But he will usually restock, and as you can see, I was right, the Spanish Grand Prix from 2015. So let's take this thing out of its box. It's actually, I've already had it out and looked at it because of course I have. I had to take a look at it because, again, Formula One diecast, particularly in the 1/64 scale, are virtually impossible to find these days. They're just not around. So here it is, Fernando Alonso's Spanish Grand Prix McLaren Honda. So here is a look at the McLaren MP4-30 out of the box. Fantastic, fantastic model. I think Spark did an excellent job modeling this car and getting the proportions of a 2015 F1 car pretty well proportioned. Easy for me to say, but as you can see, I had to move the car all the way up to the top of the frame because of the fact that these F1 cars from this era are so long. Now, the reason they're so long is because they have to make an entire Grand Prix on one fuel stop, or just, you know, no stops at all. They have to have all the fuel on board to start the race that they're going to use during the race. So that equates to something like 70 to 100 gallons. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's a lot of fuel, so it makes the cars incredibly long. Kind of gives them a school bus look a little bit. But I think in terms of the way that Spark did this, I think it's fantastic. I think the details look really, really good, despite the fact that it's kind of a bland livery from McLaren. Like I said, this is probably the better of the two 2015 schemes that they ran during the season. But still, they could have just gone with the full orange instead of always going with the gray. I think that's a thing that one of the McLaren bosses is really, really into, just having gray cars or silver cars or whatever. It's kind of a holdover from the old McLaren Mercedes days. Ron Dennis, that's who it is. Ron Dennis is kind of a stickler for the grays, and most of the fans are not. Most of the fans would like this to be papaya orange, or, you know, Gulf colors or something, or even Marlboro, even though that would be very hard to do considering the tobacco advertising laws that are so stringent these days. Even if you were doing a tribute livery, I don't think you could get away with it. So let's take a look at some of the details on the model, and if you haven't already noticed, clearly there are no Pirelli logos on the tires. Spark, this is the one thing I complain about for the price point. I mean, $14, come on, give us some tire printing. This was the same as it was on the TS030 and the Delta Wing, no tire printing. But aside from that, like all the details, I mean, look at the modeling there. You've got the little strakes on the end of the rear wing, and they even modeled that little mobile detail or a decal on the very edge of the wing. Really, really beautiful here. They got the wheels right as well. Look how much space, how much underfloor space. This is weird because I'm normally an IndyCar guy, and Indy cars, when they design, they use all of this space in front of the rear wheels. But Formula One cars are very much more, I would say, clean aerodynamically. They don't have a lot of the aerodynamic guff or gubbins or whatever you want to call it all over the car. These are fairly clean except for in the front wings where you can see there's a lot of detail. But really, really beautiful, beautifully designed car. And this is something that we don't usually get with 1/64 scale cars, is driver detail, driver and cockpit detail. And I mean, let's try to get as close up as we can to that helmet, because it is absolutely fantastically detailed. I mean, this is wonderful, wonderful detailing. Let's see if we can finally get really close on that helmet, because there is a design up there. It's kind of hard to do. I don't have the most professional camera in the world, but yeah, fantastic. And you get mirror detail, though I don't think... Is there reflection? That's kind of hard for me to tell on my little monitor, but it almost looks like there's reflection. That's fantastic if that's the case. But yeah, look, I mean, just like from this perspective, look how perfect the model is proportioned. I mean, it's really, really nice. One of the sponsors I really do like on the 2015 and 2016, and I think 2014 they were on there as well, is Esso. Yes, Esso. That kind of like takes you back to the old sports car days, like the Steve McQueen Le Mans days, where you've got the Porsche 917s and the Ferraris and all that good stuff, GT40s, all that stuff. Jim Clark too. I think Jim Clark was sponsored by Esso when he ran the Indianapolis 500, and I think that was on his F1 car as well. But just look at the detailing, man, oh man, absolutely fantastic. Clinton News Network, easy for me to say. I was trying to get a political joke out there, but it didn't work. Oh well. David Land does not endorse any political candidates or anything. But anyway, yeah. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh man, that is fantastic detailing on the back there as well. I think that's the little like the silver thing you see is like the exhaust, which they actually expanded, I think, for 2016 to make the cars a little bit louder, because people complained about the fact that the V6 engines sound bad, but V6 engines always sound bad. There's really not a lot you can do to make them sound good. So I don't know why they wanted to amplify it, but whatever. Let's take a look at the bottom of the car. You can see the diffuser strakes there, and we go along the bottom of the car. There's my lovely fingerprints. Clearly, this is a very grease-attracting base there. But anyway, there's no actual detail, like stuff you would see like on a Hot Wheels car where it says like MP4-30 hashtag, or not hashtag, but it would be like copyright Hot Wheels or something. None of that on here. It's just the straight base, and they even took the time to detail on the bottom of the wing as well. They even detailed stuff like the onboard cameras here on the front, which you may be able to see during some, if we could focus, there we go, that you would see on an F1 broadcast. That's where they get the pictures from the very front of the car, so that's where they mount the onboard cameras. Just a fantastic looking piece. Really, really nice. Now I've heard that Spark is going to produce a few more of these from the 2015 season specifically at the moment. In addition to the Jenson Button and the Fernando Alonso from 2015, I was told by Racing Nation TV on Instagram that they're going to do a Lewis Hamilton championship winner from last year. That would be fantastic. Hopefully they also do Nico Rosberg, as he seems he's on his way to clinching the 2016 title. So it'd be nice to have both of the Mercedes cars. I'd love to see them do the smaller teams like the Manor Marussias, certainly a Haas. I mean, the fact that I'm an American, and one of my primary scales I collect is in 1/64 scale. So I think Spark would be very wise to do the Haas cars from this year or next year or whenever. Just do Haas cars. They will sell, and they will sell out, believe me. But I would just love to see them do as many of the cars as they can. They may not be able to do Ferrari because Ferrari's licensing is always very hard to do because they always have exclusive contracts. In fact, Hot Wheels can't even make Ferrari cars anymore. But anyway, I'm rambling. I think this is a fantastic car. If you're an F1 fan, definitely track one down and pick it up. It's a great addition to your 1/64 scale collection if you do collect 1/64 scale diecast, or if you have a 1/64 scale Formula One collection. That's probably pretty small at the moment, but we'd love to see it expand, certainly. I think Spark does a great job with their 1/64s. I really wish they did more, but whatever. So if you did enjoy seeing something a little bit different, please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. I would definitely, if this video does really well, I'd love to do more F1 1/64 scale reviews. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.
Back at it like an automatic. Sip cheap liquor till I'm leaning backwards. Young English, write the chapters. Black Paisley, yes we go hard. You said we go hard. I said we go hard. You said we go hard. I said we go hard. You said we go hard. I said we go hard. You said we go hard. I said we go hard.